Hi everybody, it's Practical Mommy with mymommymanual.com, and I'm visiting with Nicole Bored, who is a partner at parentville.com, but she's also the mom of a former preemie who is now 2 years old. So we are talking today about some of the things that you can do if you have a preemie and they're now out of the NICU and you've taken your baby home. Some of the tips that Nicole can share about Preemie Care at home.
Sure.
So go ahead.
I can start with a couple tips. One of which is the same theme that we were talking about before, which is temperature. And temperature is a key. Your baby is out in normal air temperature, but that doesn't mean that he or she is safe.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, actually, the temperature of a preemie can dip, and you may think that your thermometer is broken.
Huh.
So you actually have to keep testing the baby's temperature throughout the day, and you have to learn how to take a rectal temperature quite well.
And how often are you doing this?
I would say every 4 hours, four to 6 hours. 4 is a little frequent, but six is probably a good number. But really, the first 2 weeks, you want to be careful if you have any sense of the baby's temperature going low. And the way to protect you against that is to continuously wrap the baby in layers.
Okay.
So more layers than you'd probably expect, especially this winter.
So you're kind of monitoring your baby at all times and trying to almost mirror what they were doing in the hospital now, even though, they're a little bit older. What's the red flag? Like, when is it appropriate for you to call a doctor or bring your baby in?
One would be certainly if for some reason you can't get the temperature up by wrapping the baby. 2 would be if the baby's not eating. And eating is always a concern because it's very difficult. If you're trying to breastfeed, the baby is so little, it will be very difficult. So there's tips that we can suggest as far as eating. So if you notice that the baby's not eating, the baby's going to lose weight. And a baby that small really can't afford to lose too much weight. So that would be something where you'd need to call your doctor and say, I don't know how to help my baby feed better.
Okay.
So there's tips, and especially I would seek out a breastfeeding expert before you give birth. Somebody that you know can come to your house. Even if you don't suspect that you would give birth early, have that person in your phone book, in your smart device, and make sure that they can come to your house immediately and tell you what you're doing wrong and what you can do to help the situation.
Okay. So, other than temperature, what do you think is the most important or most helpful piece of advice that you got about caring for your preemie at home, and that you'd like to share with other people?
I would say 2 things. One, and they're both on the same theme. One is seek out help. And officially that with the baby is early intervention. So each state has their own early intervention program, which helps detect if there's any developmental or feeding issues or the baby's not reaching key milestones. And you'd think that the NICU would help you do this once you got home, but do not rely on the NICU because they will not be able to help you as if you were there. You have to seek out the early intervention number, call them, follow up with them. If you feel like you're not getting help fast enough, in other words, in a matter of 2 weeks, you're not getting calls back, you have to keep pursuing various state organizations to make sure that you get somebody in to evaluate your child.
Okay.
And if those evaluations aren't going fast enough within a couple weeks, I would, if you have a good enough insurance plan, I would find a pediatric physical therapist feeding specialist and bill back your insurance. Get them to come in immediately to look at your baby, and then you can at least get started.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for meeting with us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.